Welcome to another episode of Swoop Luke. This is a chat with Collingwood draft guru AJ. He did a really cool write-up on Reddit. But before we do jump into it, just want to apologize for the video quality on both of us and the Zoom recording feature. I don't know what the hell happened. I've got a 1080p camera that just doesn't seem to work, but it's still a really great chat. AJ is super, super knowledgeable. So enjoy the video. See you in the next one. Welcome back to another episode of Path to the Draft. This is the second last episode before the draft on Wednesday. I am joined by AJ. If you had seen the live fan cams that we did last week, AJ was there talking about the draft. He's got this amazing write-up on Reddit about the draft and Collingwood's draft, mate. Thank you for joining us.
Cheers for having me.
No, it's my absolute pleasure. Like I've said from day one, the draft is something that is a lot out of my wheel range. So doing this Path to the Draft series, it's been really nice to sort of like get to know some of these boys. Well, it's been about 11 or 12 of them at the moment. And Collingwood probably won't even draft, maybe more than two of them that I've done a video on. But it's really nice to sort of dive in and dig into it. But you're really into the draft, aren't you?
Yeah, I'm absolutely it's a massive draft nuffy myself.
Yeah. So
I've been, it's
how
probably
do I
my
start?
fourth or fifth year. Probably my fourth or fifth year, like probably following the draft.
Yep.
And just because obviously I'm just huge footy nuffy in terms of
Yep.
general. And this is just kind of an extension of that.
Yeah. So
And
how
yeah,
did
just
all
finding
that start?
the draft stuff. It's just kind of looking at like, I've got a keen interest in like kind of the list management kind of side of things
Yep.
and seeing the type of like players for what the club's needs and stuff like that, and seeing okay who are the players that we can kind of bring in to fit those needs and make the club and team better.
Yep. Yep.
And the draft is a really good way of doing that, obviously.
Yeah, 100%. And I think where Collingwood's list is at the moment, and if we're looking at getting some of these bigger players towards the next couple of years, the draft is a really good place to get some talent and really cheap as well, because they're not on $500,000 salaries. Some of these guys, or they'll be on
Yeah,
obviously some of them will be on rookie payments, some will be on real base payments. So it really sets up the future for Collingwood, doesn't it?
yeah, it does absolutely. The just getting this like I mean it's the cheapest way to get talent in,
Yep.
absolutely. And it's if you can draft well, you can get some really good players just for nothing basically.
Yeah, and look, we'll jump straight into it. So the draft's on Wednesday, which we know is round one.
Yeah,
We're maybe expecting a McCarthy bid somewhere late round one, but we're going to be doing most of our drafting on the second night because our draft picks, as it stands, are 39, 45, 56, 61, and 77. We've got about 6 list spots to fill, but that could be rookie upgrades as well if we sort
yeah.
of wanted to. How are you sort of, before we dive into players, how are you sort of seeing Collingwood right now as it stands?
I mean, I think the club is obviously in a kind of it's like midway through like a transitional period in a
Yep.
sense, where we're not necessarily there yet, but we're going to be very soon. When we see the likes of, Pendlebury, Jeremy Howe, still Simon, those types retire.
Yep.
And I think you're really going to have to prepare yourselves for a future without that. And I think the draft is someone necessary might not it's not be the most it's not going to be a sugar rush hit in the sense of like we're not going to get straight away
Yep.
improvements from these players, especially like players that are going to be picked up late. But it's a sense that it's a way we can look at some of the holes in our list,
Yep.
especially do holes in our list in terms of like young players and trying to fill that.
And with in saying that the holes in the list, where do you sort of see our holes? Like I'm looking at your and I'll post a link down below for everyone to sort of read it. You have your list needs here as tall defenders, which we were really short on this
Yeah,
season when
absolutely.
Jeremy Howe and Billy Frampton went down. Contested midfielders and speedy midfielders, and then your key forward is pretty much Zach
Yeah,
McCarthy.
yeah, absolutely. So I think I definitely see in terms of like in terms of our list, it's in three different spots on the SWAT of
Yep.
the field. It's back defense, midfield, and forward off, which is the entire field.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
in terms of defense, I mean, we saw when Reece McCann went down with the ACL, it was basically we had two players that could play AFL level as key defenders, Billy Frampton,
yep,
who was serviceable, and Charlie Dean, who obviously we just saw get delisted.
yep,
And below that is Joel Cochran, who's obviously not ready and needs time to develop.
yep.
So I feel like if we do get some more injuries, like that, it's going to be a tough spot for us. And so I feel like that is a list spot in the list that we probably have the most like we're least prepared to fill a hole if someone comes in.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that's, well, I can see why we sort of delisted Charlie Dean, just really wasn't up for
Yeah,
it. But you need that sort of player there to cover if we do. Like, yes, he was serviceable, didn't do that good of a job, but no one else could do that job. We even had to chuck
yeah.
McStay back at times. So let's sort of talk about these defenders. Now, I did a video thanks to your post about Max Kondogiannis. I hope I
Oh no, to be
pronounced
honest, yeah.
pronounced that
I've not
right.
choices. It's very
Yeah,
Greek.
yes, very, very Greek. What do you think about him and who else are you sort of seeing as a defender?
I mean, Max Honduras is probably someone I'm really hoping we can pick up in this draft.
Yep,
Whether he'll last that long enough, I'm not too sure about. But I feel like just the sense that Conjuring Giannis just reads a play like really well. That's probably one of his biggest strengths, which allows him to use his aerial ability to take intercept marks or come in for a fist, whatever. And he also can use his speed to rebound and stuff like that.
yep,
And he's very pacey and he's pretty handy as a distributor. Obviously, he's not quite that key position height,
yes, yep.
but he's like the perfect height for like a Jeremy Howe replacement, which we're going to need in a year or two.
And no, that's definitely right because Jeremy Howe, this is probably his last year. Do we? And I liked it. I loved everything I saw about him when I was sort of researching into him, seeing his work. He's about 190 centimeters, so not
Yep.
super 190 centimeters. Let me just say, absolutely tall, but not super tall
Yeah.
for a key position
It's
defender.
it's relative.
I know, yeah, exactly right. Because then you see these midfielders that are 194 centimeters. You're going, Jesus Christ, what is going
Yeah.
on here? Is there any defenders in there in the draft that you can sort of think of or have looked into that are that Billy Frampton replacement if he was to go down?
I think it would probably it's a bit tough in the stage of the draft where we are, to the sense
Yep.
that like it's going to be in the deep in the draft, probably
Yeah.
end up being in the picks in the 40s and 50s, which in this draft is going to be like some of the last picks being taken.
Yep.
And so you really, and this kind of draft is kind of it's lacking in key defenders generally.
Oh, right.
Like,
Okay.
so why you're seeing players like I say Charlie Dean, Harry Dean,
Yep.
and Xavier Taylor and Blake Fred Goldkin really rated highly in the first round.
Yep.
And so you kind of have to. It's not so much position people like that, but you could probably looking at someone like Elliot Duffield, who's been linked to us as an option.
Okay. Yeah. So besides the defenders now, so we've looked at a defender, and I like everything about Max. Your next point of action was a speedy contested midfielder. Now there's some like Dalton. I was looking at Rodriguez. I absolutely love Riley Onley. Dyson Sharp, if we can get up that higher in the
Yeah,
draft, which we'll talk about later. And Dyson Sharp's probably going to go to Essendon anyway. Who are you liking
yeah.
out of those?
I mean, I think one of my favorites is Riley Only,
Yep.
who we talked about before about these tall midfielders. He's 195 centimeters, so very tall as a midfielder.
Yep.
But he's just one thing that he really brings, which I think is kind of innovative nowadays, is just his athleticism.
Yes. Okay.
And it's just for his height, he's like he has really good pace and he's really incredibly explosive through the midfield. And he has a really good clean set of hands and midfield, which allows him to give that inside ball out to distributors.
Yep.
But he's not just someone like, like a Ned Long, for instance, on our team, who's only there to hand it out. He can take it himself and really burst through stoppages and run forward of the ball.
Which is something that we don't really have. I think Tom Mitchell did that a little bit in 2023. Obviously, we didn't see much of him in the last
Yeah.
couple of years, but Tom Mitchell did that 2023, did that a lot at Hawthorn as well. And that's someone, yeah, that we're definitely lacking. What do you think of Rodriguez? I know he's about 10 centimeters smaller than
Yeah.
Only, can kick on his left and his right, bit of an ambidextrous guy. And he's probably going to be around our pick as well.
Yeah. I do really like Rodriguez and
Yep.
helps he has a really good name, I would say.
Yes. Yeah.
It's one
So
of those
good.
things is what I look for in a draftee is how good's their name. But yeah, he's a really good contested midfielder.
Yep.
And he can just find he's a good accumulator of the ball as well. And
And
he is like I'll go on, yeah,
no, no,
sorry.
so no, go ahead, go ahead.
He does bring like that defensive edge. He's a really good tackler as well.
And do you think an inside mid is what we're lacking, what we're needing. We saw, we're going for Clayton Oliver, we're going for a Jai Simpkin. We let go of Tom Mitchell because we're in favor of Ned Long. Do you reckon we're done with outside mids at the moment?
Yeah, I think because I feel like the mids we do have, if that we can play outside, we have a fair few players that can play kind of on the wing. So you got
Yep.
Lipinski, Jack Crisp, still Sidebomb even,
Yep.
Josh Dacos, and we really lack in kind of that in and under midfielder, for
Yes.
instance.
Yep.
And it's like necessary, like in and under midfielders, you kind of when you're drafting these players, they need to be players that can do something other than that as well. They
Yeah.
can't just be a one-trick pony.
Yep.
And so, yeah, I feel like having these players that can come in and play inside, but as well who aren't, but also like can accumulate on the outside and be part of a chain.
Okay. And then I think that's what someone like 177 centimeters.
Yeah,
So
there's a small
even I think
midfielder.
that's maybe as tall as Bobby in the midfielder as a mid.
Yeah,
And I think that was one of Tom McGuan's biggest knocks was that he was too small as an inside mid. But then you look at Dalton and he's relatively a really good player for his size, isn't he?
yeah, he is. I mean, it kind of comes down to he has fantastic endurance.
Yep.
He can run all day and that sort of thing, and which allows him to kind of accumulate on the spread and be a part of that chain going forward with the ball, and he can really help in the defense as well. I kind of see Dalton playing more on the wing to start his career,
Yep.
and it really comes down to because that size that he is, can he play inside midfielder, which is kind of the
The big
worry you would think.
yeah, the big question. So we looked at out of all those players, who would you take first if you were there sitting next to Justin Lepage?
I think if I'm first, I'm going for like, all right, because none of these players are going to come in round one necessarily.
Yeah, yep,
They're going to play early, so I think I would probably take the most upside player, which I think is Only. But
yep. Beautiful. And yeah, I tend to agree. He'd be taller than I think because I was doing a video on the other day. He'd be
yeah,
the tallest player pretty much in our mid well, definitely in our midfield, taller than Pendles, taller than Ned Long as well. I think Ned Long's 193 or 194.
yeah,
So
he's 194 actually. Yeah,
oh well
194. He would be taller.
yeah, there you go.
Tall midfielders are definitely like in vogue these days.
Yes,
And
yep.
we look at it. I mean, we still have Ed Allen as well, who's a taller midfield as well. And so it's kind of you can't really have too many of these players because of their height, you can play them elsewhere in the midfield. They are versatile.
Yeah, exactly, Ryan. That's what you like you said, that's what you need, and that's what Craig McRae and the coaches love. Now, let's look at the forward line, which sort of seems pretty set in its ways at the moment. We bring in Jack Buller, we've got Charlie West waiting in the wings. We
Yeah.
lose Myercheck, but we're looking at well, not looking at, we're pretty the 99% we're bringing in Zach, well,
Yeah.
99.9% we're bringing in Zach McCarthy.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think yes, when looking at the forward half and forward the ball, we are kind of set with what we have now, but we still have to kind of prepare for the future as well because if you're looking at uh two of our forwards are going to play a majority of the year, you would think key forwards are
Yep.
Danny Day and Tim Membry,
Yep.
and they're both going to be both over 30 starting this year.
Yeah.
And so having a player like Zach McCarthy kind of fall in a lap is kind of just like it's funny how these things sort of work out.
Yeah, and I've heard I've seen a lot of phantom drafts and I've talked to like Jasper from ESPN and I've seen Pommy and I've seen all of these guys and no one really super knows his best position because some are saying
Yeah.
it's just in the ruck, some are saying yeah he's going to be a great forward second ruckman, some are even Jasper said in a few years, in 4 or 5 years he could be down playing down
Yeah.
back. How do you see him?
I kind of see him. I think to start out his career at least, I kind of depend. Going in defense, he hasn't really played too much defense. He has those attributes, absolutely, as how with how athletic he is.
Yep.
But I think that will kind of come down to how the coaches see him, potentially. But I think to start out his career, I think he will probably be more a forward that can go in the ruck as a hit as to chop out necessarily. Because it's going to for him, because he is a very skinny
He is.
player.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yep.
yeah. And so it's gonna take a lot of muscle to build up for him to be able to play decent rock minutes.
Yeah, and I think we know these tall players are a bit of project players, so it will take a while for them to sort of come on. But staying in that forward line, we are looking at Saxena as well as an NGA tied.
Yeah.
I think maybe more so either a very late draft pick or a rookie spot. Would you concur?
Yeah, I think I would think you would probably looking at the rookie spot or a late, very late one, yeah.
Yep.
Because I think it really depends on what how we see the draft. Because two things can even happen. We could either like feel like okay, we don't really see anyone worth picking that, so we'll just pick one of our NGAs or Fabs or Thompson one
Yep.
potentially with that last pick
Yep.
if we want to pick someone at all. And I think we'll probably end up looking at one of those two as a rookie spot.
Yep.
And
And
we
do,
only have the one rookie spot to fill, so it will be either or. If both
yeah,
are there, one the rookie spot
true,
as
true.
a category A rookie.
Yeah, and do you think so like we were saying a bit earlier, there is six spots, but we could look at SSPs as well, and we know
Yeah.
we've had good a good track record with that. How many from the top of your head, sort of, how many live picks do you reckon we're going to be, or live players we're going to be taking in the draft, including the rookie draft as well?
Well, I think including like Zach McCarthy as part of it, it would
Yep,
probably end up being like between in the national draft, it would be between two and four.
yep,
That's what we've been projected to look at. And that kind of will really depend on who's available and who we really rate. Because if
yes,
we
yep,
see players we really rate and feel like, okay, we have these picks, let's use them on these players. But these players are already taken, and we say, okay, we've taken off two players necessarily. We don't really see anyone we really rate. We'll just leave it there.
yeah. And that's fair enough, and we've done that quite a number of times. But the biggest sort of rumor going around, and it was really started during the trade period as well. Collingwood are trying to get up into
Yeah.
higher up into the draft, and it's a bit precarious to sort of think about because of the let's be frank, the shit picks that we have, like as in
Yeah.
points wise and stuff like that. You're not, Gold Coast aren't going to give up, for example, a pick six for some of our picks that aren't going to give them a lot of points anyway for their academy picks, right? So how do
Yeah.
you sort of see that happening, or or why do Collingwood want to get so high up the draft? Is there a player that we haven't talked about that they're trying to steal?
Well, in terms of, I can't really say too much about any players we haven't talked about because also we know Collingwood were interested in Dyson Sharp
Yes, yep,
going up to the draft, but I don't think he'll be there. The highest we can get, the highest we could probably get is pick nine, and
yep,
even that's not going to happen anymore because
yeah,
Carlton are going to trade that pick nine to Essendon, looking like most likely.
yep.
And so I've not considering Dyson Sharp. I can't really say if there's any player with particular looking at in that top
That's a
first round, early
question.
first round.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I couldn't see anywhere. There's been no one like no one sort of linked to us, or not even any rumors of what that draft pick, or what team they're even trying to take a draft pick from,
Yeah.
because we can't do anything with it. So would you, as a as the Pies draft guru, is what I'm telling you, what you are now,
Yeah.
are you getting rid of a 2026 or 2027 first round draft pick to get higher up into this draft? Is it worth it?
I would consider doing it for 2020 a second round pick if
Yep.
we saw someone we liked who we could see we could take with getting into the second round most likely.
Yep.
But I probably wouldn't give a first rounder.
Yeah. Okay.
I would maybe consider it if we could guarantee ourselves being able to get someone like Dyson Sharp, but I don't think that's likely at all. So I don't really see us giving up a first rounder.
Yeah. I think that's a consensus that I'm sort of hearing, because well, I think it was yourself. You were saying that next year's draft is very academy father son related, as well. Again.
Yeah, it probably will end up being. I mean, we saw just two of like the most highly rated picks going to next year are both NGA and Father Sons.
Oh, they are Port and Carlton, aren't they?
Yeah, Carlton have Cody Walker, who's a
Yep.
midfielder, and Port Adelaide have Dougie Cochran, I think his name is,
Yes. Yep.
who's a tall forward.
Yeah. So there you go. And I think, now that you've said second round draft pick, they could use that for points as well,
Yeah,
right? For next year. So that could come into the thinking, but I agree with you. You're not giving away a first round draft pick 2026 or
that
2027. AJ, look, before we sort of wrap this up, who are you most who would you want the most to come to Collingwood? Let's take Zach McCarthy out of that, and everyone we sort of spoke to, every research that you've been doing, who's the number one guy that Collingwood need to be targeting with the picks that we have?
I mean, I feel when I'm looking at the picks that we have, I feel like considering the amount of midfielders they are available at the time, I
Yep.
would say Riley Arnold would be my favorite of those. But if we considering the amount of midfielders that are available at those picks, I would probably consider looking at someone like a Max Kondo Giannis.
Yes. Yep.
I feel like he's probably going to be like, if we don't take him with our first pick, I don't think he'll end up being there by the time the second pick comes around. Because again, I think it's possible that McCarthy bid comes in after our first pick,
Yep.
but I feel like it's even though our second pick is only a few picks later, I feel like aren't going to let us just get to that pick as well.
Yeah. A
So a
hundred.
bid will come before
A
between
hundred
then.
percent. And if you guys want to watch that my video on Max as well, that'll be in the playlist down below. But AJ, thank you so much for joining us, mate, on Pass of the Draft. Hope to have you
Thanks for having
on
me.
more often when it comes to this sort of stuff. I appreciate it, buddy.
Cheers, man.
No worries, and we'll talk to you soon. Oh, actually, sorry. What is your you do most of your stuff on the Collingwood subreddit, correct?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So if you find him, it's perfect underscore finance underscore 510. I'll put all the links down
Yeah.
below. Chuck a follow on the Collingwood subreddit. AJ, thank you so much. And I'll see you on the live stream Wednesday night, mate.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having me.
Done. Thanks, brother. Cheers.
Cheers.